welcome back to the Crossroads. Now today we're going to be looking at how to play over a jazz blues. Now I think, when you're getting started kind of playing over blues changes, it kind of sounds like this at the beginning. Which is good, that is playing over the changes, but it's kind of not musical, is it? We want to turn that from that kind of thing to this. So the thing is, how do we do that? How do we go from to something a bit more musical, like the example I just played? Well, of course, that's what takes a lifetime of work and listening. So that piece I played at the very beginning, I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to explain to you, how I came up with that and some ideas which are used constantly throughout, this genre of blues jazz. First of all, let me take you through the chords. I'm going to play the chords. You'll probably know this. I'm doing this in the key of B flat, and these are the jazz chord blues changes, similar to the regular 1-4-5, but slightly different. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So starting on a B flat for 1 bar, E flat 7 or 9 for 1 bar, B flat for another 2 bars. Then we go back to the E flat again. Now here we've got a diminished, E diminished, back to the B flat. Now we go to the G7. Now we go to a C minor, an F, this is what we call a 2-5-1, B flat, G. All right, that was the chord changes there for a blues. Now, just before we get on to this solo, I just want to say a couple of things about playing over the changes. First, of course, it's different from a regular blues, because on a regular blues, you're just playing like the blues scale, one scale, like for example. So you're just playing one kind of blues scale over all the changes, and that'll work, that'll sound great, but we're trying to follow the chords, the changes. So what that means is every time the chord changes, your scale or arpeggio or the notes change to follow the chords. That's the first thing. I'm sure you know that already. The second thing is you have to know your notes on the guitar. Stop thinking of, if you can, of, oh, this is fret 6, this is fret 5, going to, fret 8. You can do that, but of course, if you're following the changes, 1, 2, 3, 4 isn't going to make any sense. So first of all, you have to know the notes on your guitar, to the point where if someone says E, you can E, 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 E. And you have to know every note as well as that. If you don't, have a look at my video on learning the notes. That's the first thing. The other thing that you have to do is you have to memorize every note in every chord, because otherwise, if you don't know the spelling of a chord, it's impossible to play it. So, for example, in B flat, it's B flat, D, F, and the 7th is an A. So that's the root, the B flat, the 3rd, the D, the 5th, the F, and the flat 7, because we're playing over dominant chords, which have that flat 7 note, is the A flat. So for every chord, you have to memorize every note in every chord. Otherwise, of course, when you're changing, you can learn this piece I'm going to teach you, but it's going to be parrot fashion. You'll be able to play it. You'll probably play it better than me, which is great. But then when you come to playing over changes, when you've got to do it yourself, it's going to be a lot harder. So, okay, right, now let's get on with the tune now. So, first of all, when we're trying to turn this into something a bit more musical, what we're going to do is we can use some things called chromatics enclosures, and we can play color tones too. So this is what we're going to demonstrate in this solo. So the first thing I'm going to do is I played a B flat chord, and then I played this. Now I'm starting here. Why did I start on this note? On the this is the C note. Okay, now the reason for that is the C note is a color tone. It's the 9th of B flat. So here's a B flat. Next note in the scale is a C. If you play it up an octave, it means it's a 9th. And then I'm going up to this note here, which is in the B flat chord. This is the 3rd, the D. And then this note here is the F, which is the 5th in the chord. And then I finish here on the root, which is the B flat. So, you know, it's making it a bit more jazzy by adding these color tones. So you can have that. Okay, now next chord is this E flat 9 or 7th chord. And what I'm going to do here is repeat the same idea, altering it slightly. So I'm still now starting on the 9th as the E flat of the E flat. And then I'm taking this 6th fret, which is really the flat 7th of that E9. There's the E flat. If I flatten that twice, you get the flat 7. Curling that, because not only that is the flat 7th, but when you curl it, it's going back to the D note, which is in the B flat chord, you see. Okay, great. So far we've got this. Now for the 3rd time, I'm going to alter this a bit. Now, the reason I'm doing this is a little composing trick. You can do an AAB section. So you have an A section that's repeated again. So we had A, now I'll repeat that again, but in the next chord. And then here's the B. So I'm still starting on that 9th the same. And then I do a little pull off. This is really in the kind of major pentatonic scale. This is the A flat there to the G. Pull that off to the F note there. And then I go up again. So far we've got this. Okay, there we go. So that takes care of the first little bit. And now the next chords we have are going to the E, to the E diminished. And what I play for that is this. So now what I'm doing here is what we call an enclosure. An enclosure is where you've got a target note, like a G in this case, because we're playing now over this chord. So the 3rd of this is a G. So I'm playing one note above the G, one below, and then one above. But to make a difference, I'm going to play it in the open section. Now here's your G note, the open G, but I can't I can go one above, but I can't go one below. So what I do here is G sharp, there's the F sharp there, and there's your G, but instead of using that G, I'm using an open G. Now, I'm just doing a chromatic move here. Remember at the beginning I said you can do chromatic moves. Now this is a B flat. Is there a B flat in this chord? Yes. It's the 5th of E flat, so great, really good. So that takes care of that chord. Now we want this diminished chord, so I'm going to kind of keep on going chromatically up. The only difference between this chord here and this E diminished is this E note. So I'm going to carry on going chromatically up till I get to the E note, which is on the 5th fret of the B. So. And then we've reached that. So that covers. So there we go, there's those two chords. So let me go back and I'll play from the beginning. So 2, 3, 4. Great. Okay, now we're going to the B flat, to the G7, which is the B flat chord, to the 6th chord, and I do this. Okay, now what I'm thinking here is this B flat 7th chord here, and this is the arpeggio that goes with it. So I'm just pulling off there to the 6th, which isn't in the arpeggio, is it? But we use that G note in that, so we can use that note even though it isn't in the arpeggio. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm going down from the F note, which if you remember in B flat, that's the 5th. I'm going down to the 3rd there. So I'm picking these two and then pull off that E flat to the D. Now I'm enclosing the B note because I'm on the G7 there. Okay. And now I'm playing the 4th fret, which is the G sharp, to the G again. Now we're over the G7. Why I'm playing that note? That note is wrong, really bad. If you play that, it sounds really bad. But in jazz, you have this thing called the flat 9. So here's your G, there's the 9th. The flat 9 creates a little bit of tension going back. So when you play, it sounds really jazzy, the flat 9. Okay, great. Now we're on the C minor chord. So I played it up here before, but we could play it here. And I'll play this. So I'm playing this E flat. That's the 3rd of the C minor. That's the 9th again, another colour tone. And I'm pulling off the 5th of the C, the G. This is like a little move you can do in jazz where you play with the note back 1, back to the note again. Then I'm over the F chord and I'm doing this similar move like I did there, but here on the 5th fret. This is going from the 5th, the C of the F, down to the A, which in F is the 3rd. So I'm pulling that off. 5, 4, 3, 2. And then I'm re-picking those notes. Okay, so let me go from that B flat bit. And then I'm playing the 5th fret. And this here, what I'm doing there is just really going back to the B flat chord. That's major pentatonic, really, that. So there we go. At the end, we have a little turnaround where it goes B flat, G7, C minor, F. And what you can do, you could ignore that. But what I did is I played the B flat for the B flat. And then when I go to the G7, I play the B, which is the 3rd. When I go to the C minor, I do play a C. When I go to the F chord, I play an F. There we go. And we've soloed once around then the chord progression. The next one is up to you, but what I'm trying to do in this little lesson here is just give you some ideas that you can use. So let me go back to the beginning. I'll play it all the way through for you and see if you can see what I'm doing. On the B flat there. So the idea with this thing, just finish with a couple of things, is once you've got the notes and you know your arpeggios, what you're really trying to do, and this is what takes a lifetime of work, is you're trying to go, when you play the changes, from one chord smoothly into another. So I'll play something on B flat, okay? Now, I don't know if you heard there, but I played the B flat and then to the E flat, then back to the B flat again. But what I'm doing is I'm not jumping around, I'm not going. Let me do it again. So what I'm trying to do is always play the closest note to where you finish a line. So for example, if I'm playing B flat here, and I'm finishing on this note here, which is an A note, I'm thinking where would be the closest note to the next chord, which is E flat? Well, I could go to this note. So let's do that again. Then I went back to, so I went to the E there from that note. So that's from the B flat, the fifth, third root, and then back to the B flat, which is a D note. So you're trying to make the chords flow. That takes ages, you know, because at first you want to jump around. But if you can, just see if you can take these little triads. And then try and join everything together. So let me know if you've got any questions in the comment section. Have some fun with that. It's a really great thing to do though, playing over the changes when it becomes a little bit easier. So have some fun and see you again soon.